Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth with Hive Nurse. Welcome to Inside the Hive, the official podcast of Hive Nurse. We're really excited to be here today. We have so many friends at our launch weekend event, and we have two of our most favoriteest nurses, and I'm going to pass it on to Ashley to have them introduce themselves.
Hey, Hive listeners, so glad that you're here. And we are so excited because we have a beautiful complement sitting here and beautiful colored scrubs. We didn't even ask them to coordinate in such a good way, but they did. So I'm here with Margot and Chelsea. They are both nurses. They're going to share a little bit about themselves as we kick off today's conversation. Go ahead, Margot.
Hi, I'm Margot. I work in the Neuro ICU.
And how long have you been a nurse, Margot?
8 months.
She didn't want to say that out loud. She's one of our new grads, and she is doing a fantastic job, but we'll get more to that in a minute. And go ahead, Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm now a nurse practitioner. Actually, Elizabeth was my doctoral chair.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to be her.
I definitely made her work really, really hard.
Yes.
It's just a couple of tears. It's okay. But I've been in nursing since 2015. So
Okay.
a little 11 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
great.
So mid-career.
Yes.
Mid-career.
This is great. We've got the new one and we've got the mid-career one. And what we wanted to hear from you all today, specifically, Elizabeth and I spend a lot of time in the literature, in the evidence, reading everything that's out there. And we're always hearing about what's so hard about our profession, right? But here we have two very, I would say, active, excited nurses out there doing the work. And we want to talk about the good stuff. We want to talk about what keeps you in nursing. And Margot, maybe even what led you to nursing.
I think when I first thought about going into the healthcare field, I knew I wanted to help people. And I knew that when I was young and I went to the doctor, they were somebody that was always going to help me. No matter like what my issue was, it was a safe space and I wanted to be that for somebody.
Yeah.
And Grey's Anatomy had absolutely nothing to do.
You can tell us the truth. We all love
I
that
definitely
show.
didn't go through my mid-teenage stint of Grey's Anatomy,
Yes.
so that had no effect on it.
Yes.
And then I found nursing. I shadowed a nurse when I was young. I think it was maybe freshman year of high school, even before that. And I saw that they were the hands-on. They were the ones at the bedside interacting with patients. And I decided that was a career path I wanted to go on rather than somebody just in the background, like making orders and all that.
Yes.
Yeah,
we hear that story a lot with nursing. It's typically felt from when you go and you observe and you see, or you're a patient on the other side, and who is the person interacting you with the most? It's the nurse.
Yeah,
Chelsea, how about you?
That's a great question, too. So my mom was a nurse, and
I didn't know that.
Legacy nurse.
I didn't know that.
but opposite, actually. She tried to convince me so hard to not go into nursing.
Oh, really?
And same with my dad, just because you hear of all the hardships that we go through and no pay and hard work and everything. But I always loved trying to help people. I was always, a kid fell at the playground next to me and I was like, "Ooh, let me try to put on the Band-Aid for you," and such. But my grandma actually fell ill probably around when I was 12 to 14, like the most crucial years of your life, trying to find yourself. And she had a hospice bed at her house and such. And just anything I could do to make her feel comfortable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was why I just wanted to become a nurse.
Like you weren't afraid of that.
No, and that was the funny thing is, most kids around that age, they say old people smell or they don't like old people and such. But I remember I had this Mary Kate and Ashley lip gloss because that was kind of, now I'm dating myself at the time of it. And my grandma's lips were really chapped. She was nonverbal at this point. And I put the lip gloss on her. And I said, "Grandma, you look so pretty." And she said, "So pretty," but I could barely get it out.
Oh, gosh.
I think she passed away like a week after. But that's when I knew if I could do any little thing possible to help someone at that time, I was so interested in it. And
That is so
make it better.
sweet.
And usually people don't have those glorious stories, but I still think of it to this day.
I think you made Elizabeth emotional. This is like...
I got one of my lashes. Ooh.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Absolutely.
Oh, she definitely got me through even, just some things you have to find some kind of thing to believe in too
Yeah.
as a nurse getting through. And I used to pray to her during my hardest shifts. And there's just little tiny things that you can feel too that of why I got into what I did.
Yeah.
Too.
So my question is really for all of those new nurses who are sort of at 8 months in, what do you suggest to them to like stick with it, right? This for me as a when I was a new grad, I can remember back then in like 1937. This is definitely all airbrush. I can remember feeling like this was like not the exact right thing for me. Like I was kind of like feeling, it's like you're off orientation, you're not having your new grad classes anymore. You're just kind of like in the grind. And it's kind of like one of those like kind of harder times as being a nurse in that first like 6 months off of orientation. What would you say to those new grads?
I would say definitely celebrate the small wins because sometimes that's all there's going to be is a small win and you kind of have to hold on to that. And that is at the end of the day, that's why we do it is even the smallest win is a win. And that's why we're in the profession that we're in. And also just realizing that, when people like speak disrespectfully to you and doctors come up and say something rude or snap at you or your coworker says something rude and like, it's okay. You don't have to know everything. And also a lot of the time it's a reflection of other people.
Wow.
That
That is so insightful.
That is very insightful.
Yes.
And family members are going to snap at you. And I'm not saying that you should just take it as a nurse. Like that's leading to burnout is that nurses feel that way. But if you can just kind of take it with grace and be like, you know what, that like they're stressed, maybe they're overtired. They might have something going on at home. Like it's just a reflection of something that they're going through rather than And I think that we see that in healthcare, like maybe more than other professions.
Well, we see people at their worst, right?
Yeah.
So you probably worked this week because
Of
Margot
course
is
she
a
did.
real nurse.
Yes.
She is like unlike Ashley and I who don't get to
We
go to
play
the bedside
nurses
as
on
much.
TV.
Exactly. What small win did you celebrate this week?
Yeah.
Actually, I was with a patient for the past 3 nights. And the first night that I had this patient, she had a neuro exam change while I was there. And actually, I had to advocate quite a bit. The doctors didn't want to come to bedside. They're busy. It was a crazy night in the hospital. And they responded to me, but didn't come. And then a couple hours later, I was like, I really think they should come. I don't know. So I went to the charge nurse and eventually we had someone come to the bedside and we got a scan and the scan was stable. But by the 3rd night that I had her in the morning, she was so much better. She was able to tell me her name and where we were and form a real sentence to the point, like when we were going to scan, she was nonverbal. She lost her ability to speak.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is scary.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you advocated for that
Yes.
patient.
But it was the fact, like just seeing like her family, like her daughter was at the bedside the whole time that I was there. And getting to see her daughter smile and get to see her smile as well.
That's sweet.
Was really special.
Sweet.
And what similarities too in your stories about what brings you the joy in what we do? It's the healing. It's the moments of caring. It's, I hate to date myself back to our nursing theorists, but in nursing school, Watson caring science and Orem self-care deficit theory, all these theories that you just sort of gloss over and you read to, but ultimately that is the body of nursing. I mean, that's what it's about. It's we learn how to critically think and attain all this knowledge ultimately to get to that moment of a smile or someone leaving, someone walking out. I had a nurse manager once say to me when I was in the PICU as a bedside nurse, and he said, any single patient that walks out of here is a miracle. So you have to recognize everything you're doing in here is so hard and difficult. And if they leave, you have done amazing things. And I think that always sits with me because it lets you get through kind of the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about you, Chelsea? What
what's
keeps
your
you
small
in it?
win?
Yeah. What's your small win?
That was a great question. I think the smiles matter. And it's so funny because I don't think people realize that aren't in healthcare, the smiles, they're like, oh, that's corny.
Right.
But they teach you all this such, which I'm sorry, during the theories class, I was seized
course.
at degrees.
I know that.
Just
I can attest to that.
just because
What framework?
Yeah.
Like,
I need a framework.
memorization, because you don't actually learn and understand it until you're in that moment too. And you have to hold on. We say that it's small, but it's not small. That moving that patient out, that heart patient that had been in there for 8 months long, that we got to become a part of their family.
Yes.
And seeing them leave and just the smallest smile and hug, goodbye that they still talk to you about. That's that small win that we say, but that's what keeps it big. And you need to keep it big in your heart, I think, to keep remembering that, to say, why am I doing this? Because there are some days that you do not want to do this anymore. I will not lie to you. But there were times when you just remember and hold on to that. But knowing that you're not alone too. So Margot, yes, she's a new nurse, but we've already connected on so many levels during this.
I love it.
It's the
Hive.
hive.
Being within it and such too, but finding your person, because you're not alone. Calling each other. We were laughing about a TikTok that, she worked night shift. I started off as night shift. I loved it. And coming home and having your glass of wine in the morning.
Yes.
In the morning.
That may sound like alcoholism, but to us it was 5 o'clock
It was your
in
night.
the afternoon.
Yes.
And calling to decompress with your friend on that shift too, that, your parents, they don't understand, or your manager, you have to keep poised when you speak to your manager and things like that.
Yes.
Being able to just kind of trauma dump, and then you reset mentally, and going back to the next day, you're like, you know what, I can do this.
Yes.
So I wanted to switch gears just a little bit. Margot and Chelsea are the future of nursing, right? Yep. Ashley and I are on the down end of our career, even though we look so
I'm trying to
young.
go back to the bedside. If anyone is looking, I need a different job at the bedside. I'm a very good nurse, and I am trying to. So don't put me out to pasture yet.
Okay. Well, I'm in the pasture.
I got a lot of smiles to get.
Anyway. Yeah. So I'm over there in the pasture with all the cows. It's fine. What do you guys kind of envision nursing to be like in the future, right? We've had this sort of like drastic change since COVID, and the profession to Ashley and I feels very different than what it did 15, 20 years ago. And so what do you guys want to see in the future? And you can say things like, pay me what I'm worth. And
So, it sounds kind of sad, but someone did point out to me, and they made a great point, is COVID, it wasn't just a turning point in our lives, but I think it just exacerbated what was already there in the problem with nursing. It wasn't just, COVID changed nursing. It's really good to hear and refreshing to hear that Margot got in because she cares for her patients, because that's very rare that you hear that anymore. A lot of people look at us and say, oh, you're a nurse, you must make the great bucks.
Yes.
Work 3 days a week and no, that's not why we got in. But unfortunately, the scary thing is now a lot of people go in to just, I want to go back to nursing school. That's my degree because I hated my finance job.
Yep.
And they're not doing it for all the right reasons. And if you're not supported, if you don't have a great unit, if you don't have those friends, or there's cliques and no management to break those cliques, you feel very, very alone. And, wanting to actually go into it to care for the patients is something that you want to see kind of change back over. And, it's not just this hot TikTok reel and the pit that we see, which is very realistic, though. I feel like
I haven't watched it.
Somewhat, it's better than Grey's Anatomy. I feel like
okay.
I love the pit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Well,
Maybe we need to watch it.
We should watch it.
We have to.
We should have a watch party.
Yeah,
that would be
Hive
fun.
nurse pit watch party.
Yes.
And
It really is. I feel like it's a little bit more realistic, where they are just a dumpster fire in the ER, and someone from the higher up comes down and uses that trigger word of get your Press-Ganey scores up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's their
coding.
Qualtrics scores now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Qualtrics acquired Press-Ganey, FYI. Big merger.
Yeah. And the one main character, says, find nurses that want to be here and staff our unit, and our quality will come up. And it's true. We want to go in to know that we're not going into a dumpster fire every shift. And that's what will keep us in it.
Yes.
We know that it's back to just, caring for your patient and feeling those small wins. It's not always going to be easy, but knowing that you're a little bit more supported and it's not just about productivity and such
Yes.
That
Preach.
leads really well to some of the things that Ashley and I have been writing about, actually, is that nurses are not irreplaceable, right? Like a nurse is not a nurse is not a nurse, right? We always say that in these like leadership team meetings where it's like, oh, we just need a nurse. We just need a warm body. No, we don't. We need Margot. We need Chelsea, right? Like they have a skill set that is different than Elizabeth, that is different than Ashley, right? And we need to staff our unit with Margot and Chelsea because when they work together, the work is better exponentially.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Margot, what's the future look like?
I would love to see nursing school get better. I think that,
going there.
Yeah,
Margot's
girl.
so successful. 2001. Okay. I love this.
No, but really, I think that there's sort of this stigma of some of the teachers that are in nursing school that maybe weren't great at the bedside, and they were like, oh, I don't want to be bedside anymore. I'm just going to be a nurse, and I'm over that. I'm going to be a teacher, and they're bitter, and they torture their students, and I think
and they don't want to learn. They don't want to learn new things.
No.
They don't. And I think that starts nurses off on kind of a jaded path, and then you get into the healthcare force, and there's the older nurses that are jaded and, have been through all these stages.
That's not us. We're not older.
And I find that vibe can like bring down a whole unit.
Yes.
It
So,
can.
like, I think we should bring back passion about nursing and like the excitement and like wanting to be good.
Yes.
I hear so often like people saying, oh, like, why are you putting in extra effort? I don't want to do anything more than I have to do when I'm here.
Wow.
And that's not what you should be hearing on the floor.
No.
And
It's not a profession, right? Like a profession does put the extra effort in. Like we are professionals, and it is our duty and obligation to make the system better, to make the processes better, and to also like do the best thing for the patient.
Yes.
And I also think that management plays an immense role in that, because part of the reason that people get burnt out and they're jaded and they're angry and they're just like, I want to get through my 3 shifts and be done, is sometimes it feels like it's like management against the nurses.
Yeah.
And the manager like is walking around and like sit up straight and whatever.
It's like you're back at home again.
Sit up straight. Put your smile on.
Yes.
No, truly though. Truly, people are like, put your water bottle away. Like,
Which
that is
a little
actually,
myth. It's a myth. And I can tell you that because at a recent conference, Joint Commission had a table there with water bottles because they wanted people to know that as long as they're covered and they're not next to your urine cups, you're okay.
Yes.
So but we live with these things.
Yeah. But I'm very fortunate to work on a unit where I see it work, and then I have friends that work in different units and it doesn't work. And that just makes a huge difference. But I think it starts at the root.
Yes.
It's like you can't start nurses off with the example of their teachers, who are their first example of nurses.
So true.
Have that bitter attitude.
Nope.
And then they go into the workforce and see that like it takes the passion and the excitement out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Margot.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, this was such a wonderful episode.
Yes,
I
it
loved
was.
I loved this conversation. I think I got goosebumps more than
Oh,
once.
so much emotion out of her.
It might just be because I'm tired. But I know I don't look tired, but this has been such a wonderful episode. Thank you so much for joining us on the Hive official podcast. Please follow us on all the things. We have a TikTok, which features Chelsea and Margot on the TikTok. You can watch that really funny TikTok they were making. Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to earn CE for this podcast, for listening to this podcast, all you have to do is join the Hive. It's $19 a month. You get unlimited CE. You can listen to this podcast, do a short quiz, and then you'll get an hour of CE. So really, really exciting. It was great. Thank you
guys
so much. Bye.